Hi, Julia Watts here, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we're looking at the Sentimentally Yours, the new Layered Differently collection. So this is the second set of Layered Differently that Phil's done, and today we're going to focus on the new Exquisite rectangles. Exquisite rectangles. And there are 11 dies in this set, as it says, and they are an A5 set, so they decide to go on an A5 card, which is what we're going to be making today. So just the same as the previous rectangles, we've got two layering dies for your outside mats, and then there are 5 with the kind of focal shape, if you like. And then there's some more layering dies for in the centre. Obviously you can mix and match these with the previous Layered Differently and the Layered Differently that are in this release too. And you will find them over on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and also over on Phil's website, which is honeypotcrafts.co.uk. Yes, so as I said, we're going to be using this one. Not mixing with any of the others, we're just going to use this one. So to start off, I've cut the largest but one of the rectangles out of pure white card, and I've embossed it with this beautiful Daisy Cascade 3D embossing folder, which you will find on our websites too. And then I've cut the largest die out of Totally Turquoise, and you can see the pierced detail around the edge there. So let's start by, actually I'm going to ink around the edges of this, and I'm going to use Broken China Distress Oxide, which is available on both of our websites, or should be. Just give it a bit of a swipe just around the edges. If you don't like doing this, don't, just leave this one out. And this is a woodware blend it tool, and I confess, since woodware are now, or creative expressions no longer exist, and I'm not sure what's happening with woodware, I've grabbed the last of my stock of these for myself. I'm not sure whether anybody's bought the brand yet. We haven't heard. I hope somebody has, because it is a wonderful brand. Of course, I've stocked woodware for a very, very long time, since when Judith Brewer owned the company, before it was sold to Creative Expressions. So we're going to pop that on there. And when you do your 3D embossing, do remember to mist both sides of the card before you pop it in your folder and pop it through your machine. That way the fibres will move in and out of the folder, and you won't get any cracking. We've also discovered that if you pop the folder in kind of sideways on, so you've got the two open sides, front and back, if that makes sense, then you get less shrinkage, because obviously the design has got to find card from somewhere, and it does seem to work better that way. So we're just going to get this all glued and pop it on our back layer. And then I've got a piece of card that I've cut to A5, which is half an A4, because obviously this is going to the studio, so there's no point me wasting card. I think that's good. Press, and then this is going to sit underneath my mat, which has got a piece of MDF underneath it, and that will be nice and flat for later. So that's my card blank, in inverted commas. Let's put that somewhere where I'm not going to get it dirty. Right, so layers. So I've got some layers here. Oh, I'm telling a fib actually, because this is from one of the squares. Let me grab the square it's from. So I've used this one quite a lot. This is from the Grandeur square, or Grandeur square. I don't know how you say this. We'll see. We'll see when Phil comes out with it. And so these two little dies in the centre are perfect for your little teeny sentiments with your matte and layer on it. So I've used those there. So I thought it was exclusively that one. I forgot about the sentiment. So anyway, we'll put that to one side for a moment. And we've got some layers here. So I've got the largest, I think. Yep, the largest layer I've cut out of Totally Turquoise. And then I've made a frame with the next inside layer. So this one. Then I've missed two and used the smallest one and cut those together, and then we've got our frame. But because we've got that lovely larger back there, that's going to sit really nicely in there. And this is this die here, and we're going to stamp on this in a minute, and that's going to sit in the centre like so. So that's what you can do, but I have actually got a few variations while I was coming up with this. This is what we're going to use. But what we've also got is, I did think I was going to use the largest one, and then what was I going to do? That's the largest one as well. I don't know why I've got that one. Right, so we've got this one. So we could then, is it this one? No, this is a frame. Oh, this can't be the largest one then. This must be the largest. It's confusing. Largest but one. Yeah, largest but one. It's the same size. I think I've established it is. Yeah, the largest but one. So then we've got a frame here. So I thought we could just have the frame on that, and then we'd have our lovely white background like that. And then you can have, this is the waist from that, so we don't want that. But then if you go down 2 sizes, I hope I'm not confusing you. You just start playing with it. Yeah, this is the smallest one. Then you can, so you miss one out. So you've got the largest, miss 2, and then you've got the smallest but 1. Is that right? Largest, miss 2, and then you've got that one for the frame. Yeah, that's right. Then you take the smallest one, and you can slot that one back in, and then you've got this lovely channel going on here. Remember, this frame would be raised up, so then you've got the lovely channel going on there. So that's another way that you can use it, and quite often you end up with waste that you can use like this as well. So fab, absolutely fab, as always, from our Mr. M. So, totally confused myself, probably totally confused you as well, but you know, you get going, start playing with them. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to stamp on this, I think, are we? Yep, we're going to stamp on this first. Let's get my stamping platform. Obviously you can use sentiments as well, but we are going to use an image. So let's just try and line this up so it's straight. So I'm using the lines on these papers to try and get it straightish. Let's grab this. I'm going to use the Florascript Beautiful Blooms Paraphernalia. And I'm going to be using this image here. I've sold out of these, but you can find, or you should be able to find them over at Honeypot Crafts if they've still got some. Grab this, and turquoise and brown fab together. So we are actually going to stamp this with Pinecone Versafine Clair, as opposed to Nocturne, which is the black. Oh, knocked it. I don't know why my stamp's so clean. I'm sure I can't have used, maybe I haven't used this one, or maybe I've used it with an embossing powder. I don't know, but it's not as dirty as my stamps normally are. Or I bet you some of my ladies at my workshops have cleaned it. I bet that's that's happened. Right, because I can't believe that nobody's used it. Just doesn't make sense. Although it's very sticky, which probably means I'm going to have a bit of difficulty. Right, Pinecone Versafine Clair. Lovely dark brown. Just use a block if you want to. It shouldn't be difficult to stamp actually. Hang on a sec, I haven't got loads of ink on that one. There. That would have been a disaster. Give that a press. It is nice to stamp with brown for a change rather than black, or the grey, the morning mist. And you will find the Versafines over on our websites too. A full list of what I've used will be in the description of this video. There we go. Perfect. I'll put that away in a bit. Pick it up. Where's my... Do as much cleaning as I ever do, which is just tap it. And put that to one side. Right, we'll just give that a moment. Actually, let's grab this back again. So I'm going to put it away now. I'm going to get rid of my magnets because I'm going to just use this to stamp onto. I thought we'd actually add some detail to the frame as well. And to make it quicker, I'm going to use a background stamp. So this is our frame. In fact, let's come out of here. It's easier for me to move things around if I come out of here. Okie dokie, now where's my stamp? There it is. I want delicate stripped. Where is my acrylic block? Have I moved them? Do you know, I don't think I've unpacked from my workshop. Let me find them. I normally have a set of all the different sizes of acrylic blocks on my desk. And when they're not on my desk, I'm floored a bit. Right, so this is Florascript Delicate Script. Great background, this one. You can use some of the different stamps in the Paraphernalia. There's loads of different stamps that you can use here on the frame, but we're going to use the Delicate Script because it'll be slightly quicker and I really like it. I've put a little mark on the back of my stamp to show me which way up the script is. If I normally put an arrow. I've got an arrow here, so that's the top. So that tells me which way round I'm going to be stamping. And I'm going to use Bali Blue because I think that this will tone in with the Totally Turquoise really well. We will be inking more than we need. But that's what the paper underneath is for. So let me think. Let's start over here like this, and we can use the lines on the paper as a guide to make sure it's nice and straight. So we'll have to do it 3 or 4 times because of the funny shape that it's in. So it might not be much quicker actually, but I wanted to use this stamp, so that's why we're using it. It's obviously quite random as to where you get like little gaps. Always make sure it's up the right way. And let me do the bottom bit. Oh look, I can do just the one. That's very handy. Very handy indeed. it's going to look fab. Have I done the wrong one? I've done the wrong one. I've got one ready, already prepped now for the other one. You know, when I was showing you these variations, I've done that one. Right, let's see if I can do this one then. Note to self, when you're showing variations, put the variation you're not using somewhere else. Oh dear, what am I like? What am I like? It won't go on that edge there. I think it's neater if you actually do it this way around. You watch, this one will be slightly on the wonk. Only I can do that. Right, so we're going on this side now. Oh dear, such is life. And this is a bit wonky, isn't it? Always the first one's the best. Right, let's see. I'm going to have to do this like this. So this is going to have to go like that, I think. Oh, that's made a mess. And then this will go like that. Okie dokie. So there we've got the right one now. That needs to dry a bit before we put any broken china around the edge. Let's give this a wipe. I've got a very nice stamped piece of paper now. I need to be able to clean that up. Right, onward and upward. You've got to laugh at yourself, really, haven't you? Let's face it, I have enough material to deal with myself. Right, that's that there. Right, where are we at? We're at this, here we are. This image. Now, this isn't on watercolour card, which is my preferred way of colouring in. So we'll have to see how we get on with this. I've got some watercolour blending brush pens here. How much blending I'll be able to do is I don't know how Phil does it, to be honest. He's very good at this. So I'm just going to scribble some onto my craft sheet and pick it up with a bit of water. So this is the darker one. And I'm just going to have, I think, a little bit of the darker one here. Don't know why I went so hard on that one. Not my preferred way of colouring in at all, because the watercolour blending brush pens work really well with the watercolour card, and if you're not using watercolour card it won't blend. So we just have to see and hope that it's going to look half decent. But I cut everything out in white and I didn't want to cut everything out again, so I thought we'll just go for it. We'll just go for it. And this is a lighter green. And we'll add the lighter green on top. I also am waiting for some new glasses, so I can't really see very well. Such is life. It does bleed out of the lines a little bit. How does Phil do it so nicely? I'm not altogether happy with that at all. So let's do the yellow in the centre. I'm just going to go direct with this. Normally we'd do the yellow last. I suppose we could just make a feature of the fact that it looks like that, couldn't we? And then we've got a couple of blues. So I think what we'll do is we'll take the lighter blue first. See, it doesn't even look so good on this like this. Not happy. So what I might do is do another, go back a bit, because I don't like this at all. So what we'll do is we will cut this out again probably, and then I will stamp it on watercolour card and then cut it out and then stick it on top. Because once it's coloured in, you can't tell it's watercolour card. But this is all patchy. I don't really like this at all. But you know, I'm persevering, and then we'll have something we can compare it to. I don't mind making mistakes, because then we can fix them, can't we? Every day is a learning day. See, I think that looks like a mess. I'm not happy with that. If I was to put a little bit of a darker blue on, it just doesn't blend. It looks even more of a mess now. I mean, I know why Phil does it on the white card, because he likes white card. And I like white card too. But I also like my watercolour blending brush pens to blend. So that's even more of a mess. Right, so we're going to pause. I'm going to cut another one of these out, and I'm going to get some watercolour card, and we're going to do it on watercolour card. I've even managed to get a bit of blue there, which is not going to come out because it's not watercolour card. So back in a mo. Okay, reset. So I've already stamped I've cut another one of those out, and I've stamped my image on there, and then this is watercolour card. You can tell the difference because one's creamy. So we are going to put a darker green in here, and I'm going to just blend pen with pen, which is something I can't do on pure white card. So we're just doing the highlights. don't need to worry about how it looks, which is what I like about watercolour card. And it is just super smooth, so it is nice for stamping on. Lighter green rather. Get my greens and my blues the right way. So we're just going to go in with this one now, and when the pens touch, they'll blend with each other, and they continue to blend as the ink dries. This for me is the perfect way to use these pens. So you don't have to worry about using any water. Because we're going to cut this out, it doesn't actually matter if we go outside the lines either, which is great. And if you put another layer on, then you'll get a deeper colour. You build your layers up. But it is lovely and smooth. We haven't got those harsh lines that we get when we use the pure white card. As I said, Phil manages to do it beautifully. I'm either too lazy or I can't be bothered, so same thing. Yes, so I find this so much easier using the proper card. Obviously, I've got to now fussy cut this out, which is not on my list of favourite things when my new glasses are here. But, you know, we've got the image stamped underneath, so if the lines aren't perfect, we'll pick up the brown from the stamped image underneath. So it's fine. It'll be okay. So you can see immediately, for me, I mean, this was all right, but it did bleed outside the line. For me, this is better than this one. Yeah. I'm sure I'll get some comments like, oh, I preferred the other one. Well, that's fine. That's fine. You can even go in with your water brush afterwards if you want to make it lighter. So if you've chosen a colour that's a little bit dark, you can lighten it with your water brush. And if you go outside the edge, then most of the colours you can then bleach out with water. Some of the stronger colours don't come out. I mean, this watercolour card will take a lot of water, which was another reason it's absolutely fab. So again, I'm just going on the highlighted areas here. It's a quick image to colour in because there's not much to it. And just a little bit. And then we grab the lighter blue, which is over here. I think that's a delivery for my son. Hang on. Apologies for that. So many interruptions in this video. So I'm actually doing more circular motions on this. And as I said, it will continue to settle into the watercolour card and the colours will blend together after we've finished, or after I've finished. I have got a bit of blue on one of the seeds there. You can go into, as I said, you can go into it with a water brush. And then blot it out. So there's blue there, and that's disappeared now. Hang on a sec. Another interruption. Right, so we carry on colouring this on. Love these pens. If you haven't already got them, I would urge you to get them because Phil won't be reordering them. Obviously you could also stamp using memento. There is I think it's called espresso truffle, the brown memento, or one of the brown mementos. You can actually stamp with distress as well, because that's a dye-based ink. So it is still a little bit patchy, but it will settle down and look so much better. And then we're going to add our yellow seeds. Again, it doesn't matter if you go outside the line. I'm not going to stress too much because I can't really see very well. And there we go. So I'll bring in this one. Actually, as it's drying, I'm not minding it too much, but I do prefer this one. As I said, we could go in with our water brush if we wanted to. I'm not going to, because I know that as soon as I start messing around with it, it's going to make it worse. I am going to go actually here, because I can see that I might not manage to cut that bit out. So we are going to go with a little bit of water. And I'm going to block that there, just so that that's... Okay, so I'm going to now fussy cut this out, and I'll be back yet again to carry on. Okie dokie, so hopefully we'll be able to finish this without any more interruptions. This is my pure white, and I've cut these out, and we're going to glue them in place. And I actually normally find it easier to pop the glue on the image rather than on the back of the cut. And I'm not cutting that middle bit out, but you won't be able to tell. As long as you don't tell anybody, nobody will know. Okay. So let's start with this big one. Oh, wrong way around. No, it isn't. It's this one. That's the leaf. And it will give it a little bit of dimension, which is quite nice. It'll only be a subtle bit of dimension because it's obviously only the card depth, but that will go on there, and you can't tell that bit there isn't the right colour. Then the pick-up tools are great for this because it's like you like paper piecing. So this is the one that goes down here. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect because you've got the stamped image underneath. Oh, it does matter if it moves like that though. Then we've got this one up here. And then this one here. I think I've done a previous video where I've used pure white card, and I've actually stamped the image onto I think it's powder blue card, and then fussy cut it and pop that on top. So instead of colouring in, we've done that. So now we've got an image on pure white card, but we've coloured it with the watercolour blending brush pens on watercolour card. So that for me is better. So that's going to go underneath here. Let's pull that out now. That's well and truly all right. So let's just give this an edge with the local shiner and see if we can push through and finish this. Oh, we've got one more thing to do. Another little bit of stamping. Let's do this first. I've got a sentiment, and I've grabbed a sentiment from Words of Inspiration sentiments, just saying Rustic, and I've grabbed You're the Best. And I've already got one stamped because I know what I'm like today. I'm not 100% on my game today. So I normally cut cut the sentiment out second. You know, stamp it and then cut it out. But we're going in, and remember this is from the Grandeur squares, or Grandeur squares, however you pronounce it. One of the square sets. I'll pick this off. Wait. You are the best. Okay. So I've already got one that's stamped that's drier. So we're going to use that one just because when I ink around the edges it'll be drier. The only reason, there's nothing wrong with the one I've just stamped. I can use that for something else. Right, where's my jobby? Here it is. So we're going to ink around the edges of this one. I think we do both sides. So Broken China Distress Oxide works really nicely with Totally Turquoise, which is the colour cardstock we're using, and the Bali Blue Versafine Clair is a very good match as well, which is one of the newer colours. Okay, should we go inside as well? Yeah, we'll go inside as well, just because we can. It's a bit fiddlier going inside, but it does finish it off. Again, it's optional. It will look just as lovely uninked as it does inked. And sometimes it's nice to keep it clean and simple and not ink. But then sometimes it's nice to bring the ink in. It's just a case of trying to find the one that matches the best. Peacock Feathers is nice as well, but I think that goes better with Secret Lagoon rather than the Totally Turquoise, in my opinion. And we've got an arrow. We haven't got an arrow on this one. I've got an arrow on the other one. It's that way up. And we go around the edges of this as well, because if you do start doing it, you've got to do it to all of them, because it's going to look a bit weird if you don't have them all matching. As I said, turquoise and brown go really well together. Grab this other one underneath here, and then we'll pop it back under there for a couple of minutes. Might as well do it all at once. You can as well, which I didn't do, before you put your coloured image on top, before you glue it, you could actually stamp a background to that if you wanted to. That might have been a nice bonus for messing around and getting it wrong, and then all the interruptions. Might have been a bonus, as I said. Right, so we're going to raise this frame up, and I've got some of the Creative Expressions U-mount here, not U-mount, CE mount it's called, that's the code. Mounting cushion, that's what it is, and this goes round corners, which I really like. Again, can't get it anymore. Such a pity. You don't realise, is that saying, you don't realise how good something is until you can't get it anymore. And this is one of my favourite products, this. I've got another piece. If you want it to go around the corners, you have to take both sides off, and this is actually doubled up, so it's a little bit thicker than normal, but it's perfect for going around the edges, rather than using lots of little pieces of foam tape, which is going to be what we're going to have to do when this runs out, or what I'm going to have to do when this runs out. Just goes to there, and it doesn't sticky things up, which is perfect. Right, so that's that, and get it on the right way, which is the right way up. That's the background. Not that it matters because I just turn it around in a minute. So let's go over the top and see if I can get this lined up nicely with my gaps properly. And unlike normal foam tape, I can pick this up and move it. Right, that's just got a bit of depth to it. And then we're going to grab, let's put these on here. We're going to put some foam tape on the back of this. 2mm foam tape. So this is going to go on our base layer. We're on the home stretch now. I'll have that in the middle. And then this will have, we might as well put foam tape on the back of this as well. Too sure what we're doing with our sentiment just yet. I'll put that little bit that we've got there, that'll go on there. Right, what do I do with it? Here it is. What's happened? I've no idea what happened there. It froze. Oh dear. If this video ever makes it to my YouTube channel, it'd be a miracle, I think. If you're watching it, you can laugh along with me because it's just hilarious. Right, we've got some print on here so I can move it if I don't get it quite right. And as I said, this is going to be an A5 card, pretend. And we're going to pop our base piece on there. I can't see very well because I'm around the camera. I want it to be straight and gaps as best as I can. I think we're good. We're going to go with that. And then we're going to pop this one on. I'm going to have to keep on checking now that it isn't freezing again. That's very weird. Very weird indeed. And let's figure out which way up it's got to go. Yeah, it's that way. I'll go up ever so slightly. See, my gaps are, they look all right. Going with that, and then we grab our image from underneath here and put some tape on the back of this. See, we're nearly there. Got there in the end. There's always ways to fix things. I don't know about fixing that though. I'm not happy with that. Got a bit of a kink from the glue. And then we'll see if we can get this pointing to the top. I could have embossed the background as well, actually, now thinking about it. I think we're good. We're going with that. And then our sentiment is going to go down here, on here like that. And we need to glue this to here. You are the best. Well, you definitely are the best if you're sticking with this video, that's for sure. I think I'll put a little bit foam tape just in there, like so. And it might need, I haven't got anything else to build it up. If that's there like that, then that's going to be lower. So we could actually build it up a wee bit. I'm going to put that. Do you want it up? I think we'll have it up so we can still see the frame. I think we'll have it like that. Okay. And then just to finish off, we're just going to put a pearl in each corner because we can. And I like to have a pearl in the corner. A bit more. And we're just going to use white ones. So we've got porcelain white, and because it's an A5 card, I think it warrants bigger ones, so we're going to have the 8mm ones, which don't want to turn over for me at the minute. It's definitely been a bit of a labour of love, this one, I think. Looks like there's very big pearls in the centres of the daisies, doesn't it? Won't be like that at the top then. Because it's a 3D embossing folder, you need a little bit more glue. Very, very deep folders. Let's see if that looks all right. Yep. Phew. Got there in the end. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned what to do and what not to do. You know, learning mistakes is just as useful as just watching something that goes perfectly, I think. As a reminder, you'll find the products over on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and there is a full list in the description of this video. And you'll also find them over at honeypotcrafts.co.uk too. Do like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. There's well over 150 videos using Sentimentally Yours products and lots of other videos besides, and lots more to come. And thank you for watching.